What's up, everybody? This is the Inspirations podcast, and today I have a great guest. His name is Darius. Darius is a real estate investor, and he's also a coach. And he goes about teaching people how to become a real estate investor themselves. So, Darius, can you please do us the favor of introducing yourself to the audience and giving a brief summary of who you are and your story?
Yeah, so just quickly, I specialize in single family homes. I use what they call the Burr method, but I use it, I guess, a little bit differently. Most people use it to go from one property at a time, which is okay. But what I did to kind of like scale, which is very hard, is I did this thing with I used multiple refinances. So basically, what I did is I took properties that I already have, like say 4 or 5 of them, and I did a barrage of refinances all in one time, very quickly. And that's right when the market took a dive. Well, I'm sorry, not the market, but the market went up and the interest rates took a dive. Mm-hmm. So I've been featured on many platforms like Bigger Pockets. Tasari is a good one that's local to the Detroit metro area.
Yeah.
Yep, I invest here in Pontiac, which is like 35 minutes outside of Detroit.
Gotcha.
Pontiac's like more of a smaller city, so we're like probably 75,000 people roughly, and we're around I would say what you would call grade A cities, like rich cities. So we're like on the lower scale around those cities. Like I would consider us like a C level, and the cities around us are like an A level.
Gotcha.
So for investing, this is a really good area.
Yeah, man. And so, I'm curious to learn, why did you get into real estate investing, and how did you get into it? When did you first buy your first property, and how did you find yourself getting into it?
So I bought my first one in 2014, and I just was trying to buy a home just to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like most people, just trying to buy a first home and then see what happens after that, right?
Yeah.
But again, when I bought my first one, it was like I bought it for like $9,100, which is really cheap, right?
Wow.
14, you can imagine.
Yeah.
But that was tough for me to come up with. $9,000 was real tough. I was still in school at the time.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And there are still homes cheaper though. There was homes even cheaper than that. So I bought a $2,500 house around that time bought it around 2015, like literally a year after. So I bought my first 2 homes very quickly. And that's really what got me my start, because I was able to learn how to do everything because the homes are, really bad condition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so what were the properties worth $2,500, or you put $2,500 down?
The properties at best may have sold for maybe 10 grand. So
wow. Wow.
Like my $9,100 house was actually listed for $6,500.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other homes in the street were maybe like 3 grand, 2 grand. So I was pretty much buying the most expensive house at the time when I bought my first one.
Wow, that's crazy, man. So that must have been and it's in Detroit, right? So the market is like relatively cheap there.
It's 35 minutes outside Detroit. So like it's not in Detroit. It's in Pontiac. It's a very smaller city, but it's not like Detroit. It's not like Detroit. Like Detroit, you go and you can even still today you see blocks of homes vacant. There are no vacant homes here. It's just that the income is not as great, right? So, yeah, we have a lot of the similar market issues as like Detroit.
Yeah.
But the big difference is that we're smaller and we're surrounded by rich areas. So like if you go 5 minutes outside of Pontiac, the rent, the home sales are dramatically different. Where are you located?
I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, yeah. So like we have a similar, I think I heard in Atlanta, the prices were low, right? And then they took off, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Depending on the market, but for the most part, a lot of places in Atlanta started off relatively cheap. Now Atlanta is a really hot market, and it seems like everybody is moving down here, and the appreciation of properties is just going crazy. And so I'm also trying to take advantage of it by learning more about real estate. I have a few properties, but one of the reasons I started this podcast was to learn from people like you, people who do this all the time, and gain different perspective about real estate, business, and life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, man, I'm curious because I've done my research and I've learned that you started off as a janitor, right? And now are you doing real estate investing full time now as well, or is that
No,
yeah?
no. So
Okay,
the real estate investing is just like extra for me.
gotcha.
Full time, I'm still working. I'm an engineer now.
Okay, cool, man. Cool,
Engineer at
man.
a Fortune 500 company. So my janitor job was like, just to get me through college kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
professionally, I'm an engineer. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Cool, man. Yeah. So I'm a pharmacist, and it's kind of like you, man. I pharmacist is my full time gig. Just to get that W-2 income to invest in fund endeavors that I actually enjoy and passionate about. I'm kind of curious to learn about the identity shift from being a janitor to becoming an engineer and now a real estate investor. Do you mind speaking more towards that shift in identity and how you feel like you've grown as a person?
So I mean, there's not really much you can take out of cleaning toilets and cleaning showers, right?
Yeah.
No, I guess the only thing the best thing that came out of that was I was able to work nights. So I was not a lot of people are able to adapt to working real late hours and stuff,
Yeah.
and that really helped me out. Um, on top of that, I was always in the gym environment, right? So like, there's a lot of great people I meet in the gym,
Yeah.
and as a janitor, the relating to real estate, the biggest conversation I had was when I was trying to buy my first home, and I was talking about it loud while I was cleaning up. It was like it had to be like 1 o'clock in the morning because this was a night shift job. The gym's closed at the time, so we're the ones cleaning it up.
Yeah.
There was a guy there. He was a contractor, and his name was Bill. He had like 47 homes at one point, and,
Wow.
and like you hear those kind of numbers, and you're sitting back like, is that even possible? Because
Yeah.
I'm like I wasn't on YouTube or none of that stuff before, so I'm like, is that even like? And I'm like, I gotta believe him. Like he's got like 60 years old. He's had been like 60 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he had them in like in Oakland County, which is like around purchasing homes at. And after I purchased my first home and actually started the investing and stuff, I started to hear more stories about people having 25 homes, 30
Yeah.
homes, and that actually became. I started to believe it now. Like it always goes back to the first story where I heard that guy say he had 47 homes. And that
Yeah.
honestly, just hearing those kind of numbers and hearing how it's possible to have that many homes. And now I have like I said, I got 9 homes.
Awesome, man.
So it's actually it's very possible. Once you
Yeah.
hear the story and you see how they're able to get those amount of homes and stuff. And this guy, he didn't have no partners. He was by himself.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
man.
No property management, no none of that.
Wow, wow, man, that's incredible, dude. It's so funny that you say the same thing, bro. I have the privilege of having some of these people on my podcast who have like over 100 units, and it's still kind of like it's weird to see how accomplished they are because it's like, man, how did you do that? Like what, like And I'm trying to get more game from them, and even people who have more than 5 units, like 9 units, I mean 9 properties, is still like, man, I'm it's just crazy, man. And so I part of the podcast is so I do this podcast is so I can actually learn from y'all and gain that information and see, pick your brain because one thing that I find very inspiring, honestly, is when it's to kind of see people continuously grow, throughout their life. I think that's what this podcast is all about, and I'm trying to do that for myself. So, man, my next question to you, man, is, when you go about investing properties, Darius, how do you know which property is right for you and which one to invest in? Like, what do you have any like criteria for like, okay, this is it? Because I feel like one of the hardest parts about doing real estate is finding an actually good deal. You know, I feel like there's thousands of properties you can choose from. How do you know which one to pick?
Wait a second. You said there's thousands. You cut
Oh
off.
my, oh my fault, bro. There's thousands of properties to pick. How do you know like which deal like to focus on, or which one is like, all right, this is a good deal. Like, I'm gonna go for that one.
So like I said, I primarily invest in Pontiac, and the reason why is because you're trapped here. And I don't want to sound mean, but like you leave out of the city, and you're probably paying $1,600, $1,700 a month. North of that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Here you're paying $1,400 and below. Let's say $1,000 to $1,400 in rent, and there's limited homes. There's no blight. Okay. So when I purchase a single family home, I'm looking to get over, like, get $200 or $300 more. I don't do Section 8. And the reason why is so I can rent out above what the market can pretty much stand. What I try to do is I try to bring somebody else out from like from West Bloomfield, like an outer city, who's willing to live in Pontiac, but have a better quality than the city that they're living in. You see what I'm saying? Because if they're paying $1,600 in a city right next to Pontiac, their quality of the house is probably not going to be near as good as it is where I'm offering.
So, like, essentially, like, you would buy like a cheaper, more affordable property, you would renovate it, make it more valuable, and then kind of make it at a much lower market price or a more competitive market price than the ones outside of Pontiac, right?
Oh yeah. So,
that's good.
If I told you, the rent in one of my properties right now is $1,750.
Cool.
If I go tell somebody in Pontiac that my rent is $1,750, then like, there's no way you can do that. I know I can because I have so many homes in one area. I created a market advantage, right? I can pretty much call my number. I know exactly how many applications I'm going to get from my open house. I know what the incomes look like before I even list the property.
Smart.
So like, so that really helps me out. But that's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for like a 3-bed house that has like an office that wasn't listed at, that I can convert to a 4th bedroom, that kind of thing. So I'm really maximize, the homes. There's no tricks to what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I would imagine finding tenants is super easy. Like, you probably just got an influx of tenants because of like your competitive pricing.
Right? Yeah. That's I mean, just the quality. I mean, when you put something up nice, I mean, people flood you for that too. Like, it really goes a long way. I buy houses blind. So that's one thing that not a lot of people can do. That gives me a big advantage. I can fix, nearly everything in the house.
Okay.
By myself: electrical, plumbing, roofing, foundation, everything.
Okay. Awesome. So where did you get that skill set from? Is that something that you learned or did you just gain over doing real estate?
Yeah. So when I started in 2014, I always worked hard. I did have to work hard, and I have the capability of learning fast. And I met this guy. He's an engineer. He was an engineer, and young guy, just like us, same age. And he knew how to do some of the trades. Like electrical. He was an electrical engineer. He knew how to do some of the trades. And I knew a few guys who knew how to do plumbing. But he kind of helped me do electrical. Once you learn how to do electrical, you could pretty much do everything at that point. Like, you could learn everything. Like, plumbing only took me like a couple hours to learn because, the routing is what I struggle with. Once I figured out how to route like wires, route plumbing, route gas lines and stuff correctly, it was easy at that point. And then my second home was so bad, I had to pull all the permits myself. So I actually pulled all the permits myself, did all the, went through all the, city inspections by myself on my second home. And remember, I'm not licensed or nothing, right?
Wow.
Right. But in my city, if you're living in the home, they allow you to pull the permits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my second home wasn't a rental at first. I was renting it to a family member, so it was essentially, not technically not an investment property.
Yeah. So
That's
it's
really my skill.
okay. So I'm just curious. So like when there's like a tenant who may have like some type of like maintenance issue, do you do most of the contract work, or do you just feel like you hire someone to do it?
No, because like my time's worth worth something, right?
For sure.
So like I look at it from that standpoint. If it's something like, well, you don't have really heavy electrical. If it's like a tune-up for a furnace, that's like $80.
Yeah.
I'll just call a company and send the company go do the tune-up on the furnace for $80.
Yeah.
But if it's like a roof patch, then I'll handle that, because a roof patch is usually about $500 to $600.
Yeah.
I do a roof patch.
So it pretty much you have a certain level of tolerance for your time, and if it's something like $50 for an hour, but something over a couple hundred for an hour, you're like, that's how much my time is worth. I'm with it.
Yeah, like if somebody to go do painting, it's like that's very easy to find, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to find somebody who's gonna like get on the roof or go do electrical, right? So,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. I wish I had that skill set. I'm definitely not good with my hands, man. I've noticed, man, that you said that you specialize in single family properties. Is there a particular reason why? I'm actually very curious about that. Because the properties I have are multifamily, and I'm sure you're part of the Bigger Pockets community. They often preach like cash flow and multifamilies and just having a bunch of different tenants to diversify your income. I'm curious why you chose to specialize in single families.
Yeah. So I understand like long-term cash flow can really like outbeat the single family space. If you're the versus single, I'm very aware. You just this basic math, right? Even if you have evictions and stuff in there, the 4-unit would absolutely beat the single family. But that multifamily stuff doesn't work in every city the same way. And you have to remember what multifamily was designed for originally. It was designed to stabilize rents in a market, right? It was designed for congested areas to stabilize rents. That's what the multifamily was for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The single family product, it's you can overprice the single family product a lot better. Think about if you buy a multifamily home right now, you go to sell that multifamily home, right? You're going to sell that to an investor, right? It's a lot harder to sell. You're not going to sell a 4-unit property to a mom and a dad who want to live in it. It's just that's not often, right? Mm-hmm. Now a single family home, I can crank up the remodel and I can resell the single family home for above what it's truly worth.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can also with the single family home, if the market is high, I can also refinance it very high, right? Mm. Where which is based on like the actual the sales in the area, right?
Yeah.
Where the 4-unit is more so based on the income that it's producing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a short period of time, goes back to the time, right? In a very short period of time, I can make a lot more money with a single family home than I can with a multi-family home. And I'm talking about like, when I'm buying these things, I can pull my money right back out. Like if I buy it for $100,000, I can pull $150,000, in a matter of 3 or 4 months from the property.
Yeah. Bro, yeah, you bring a very interesting perspective on single family homes, because I'm sure there's a lot of investors who will probably disagree with you, but what you said, that it does make sense. I never looked at it like that, because if you are selling a multifamily home, chances are an investor's probably going to buy it, like someone like me who's looking for multifamilies. But if you're selling a single family home, like there's probably like people who are looking for their forever home, and there's probably a lot more emotions towards it, and they're probably looking at it from a different perspective, or they're willing to pay more for a single family, right?
Yeah, I mean, I invest in real estate, but I think it's a bad product from the get go. It's a bad investment. Investing in real estate is not really that great. It's slow, right? It's slow. There's a lot of rules around it. Each state varies in rules. Each city, there's 2 electrical codes in some cities. just for the electrical. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a bad product and it's hard to scale. I mean, it's very difficult to scale. And everybody ain't making money in real estate.
Social media.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's people who have more skill than I have who are losing money. I can guarantee you that.
No, I know that, and that's why I'm actually glad that you're talking about this. Because I feel like once the topic of real estate comes up, it's a very hot topic, and everyone kind of has this fantasy of like, man, this guy's a landlord. He doesn't have to do anything, like, and he just got a bunch of cash flow coming in. And I feel like very little is spoken about the cons of working in real estate and all the stuff that comes with it, like maintenance issues, capital allocation, just having a reserve for rainy days, dealing with different tenants, bro. Like, these are all a bunch of issues that I feel like doesn't get spoken about enough because of it doesn't get the clicks on social media, Yeah.
I just how many properties do you have?
At the current moment, I have 2. I'm on my process of trying to get a third one.
Are these single families?
They're multi-families, so that's why I asked you the question. Because I don't have a preference for either. I don't think either one is wrong. To be honest, bro, my perspective is a great deal is a great deal. Like, I don't care if it's multi-family or single family. If a deal is underpriced, then I'm gonna go for. You know what I'm saying? I just happen to come across ones that were multi-family, but I don't think either one's wrong. Huh?
Are you putting these blind?
Nah. Yeah, I was meaning to ask you, what do you mean by blind? Like buying these blind? Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. You said that I was a bit.
I asked that question because I believe you can get the price down a lot cheaper when you're not looking at it.
Oh, okay. Can you explain that, man? Yeah, because I'm not.
I bought a house that's probably worth 200 or so, right? 200,000. I bought it for $55,000. Okay. And I just bought it like in 2022.
What the? Well, okay.
The market was sizzling when I bought it. The market was hot when I bought it. It was listed on Zillow, and I had a tenant inside. So that tells you right there that most people who are going to approach the property don't want the house, but don't want to deal with the tenant.
Yeah.
You have to evict the tenant.
Yeah.
And what I did is I made the tenant part of the contract.
Okay.
So this was a house on Zillow, on MLS. It was a regular house in the open market.
Okay.
And what I did was I said the tenant can live there for an additional 30 days if I get to buy the property for free. So if I get to buy the property, the tenant can live there for free for an additional 30 days.
Sure.
So I also waived inspection. I don't advise everybody to do that. I waived an inspection. I waived the appraisal. I did look at the property just for my own. I was still going to buy the property, but I did walk through the property just for my own information. But I had already signed the contract at that point. Okay. So buying it cash like that allowed me to do everything I wanted to do and anything I wanted to do.
Okay.
And the seller they just wanted to sell the property for the price they wanted. So I gave them full price offer, but I'm able to secure that property over everybody else because I waived everything and I kept the tenant.
Okay. So
in the trash.
I got you, boss. So when you say going in blind, do you mean like you waive inspection and you waive appraisal so you can expedite the process and make it easier on the seller? Is that what you mean?
So buying it blind, you're only looking at the outside of the property. You drive pretty much just drive past it. That's it. You can't go and do an inspection. You can't do an appraisal, right?
Yeah.
You're literally just looking at the photos and that's it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
I bought the house off strictly numbers.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Oh, okay. I understand. That's an interesting.
The price was so low. I didn't have to do much bargaining about the price. It was so low that I just needed to hurry up and secure the home over everyone else.
Yeah. No.
And right.
No, in terms of speed and efficiency, that definitely makes a lot of sense. My only like question or symptom I'm not understanding is like, or a risk would potentially scare me is like, what if you buy a house and you buy it for a relatively low price, but you see some type of like issue in it that you weren't privy to because you didn't actually see the house, or you went into it blind. What kind of risk do you do to prevent that? You know?
Well, I did get nailed.
No.
I've done this so many times. I've done this so many times, and that's what I try to tell people. Like, one of anything is never good. If you have one, it's not good. So like this particular property, the sewer. So I had two really bad points in the sewer. I had a big like shift in the pipe in the street area, and also I had the pipe was eroded. Is eroded away from underneath the porch area where the footing was, where the footings were. So it forced me to replace the entire sewer line before I rent the property out. So I actually right on Instagram you can see there.
Yeah, I seen that.
Cost me
$30,000.
Like
cost you $30,000.
Almost 30 grand basically.
Yeah, I seen that.
30 grand. And that was a very rare situation. Like, long story short, it's a very rare situation, and that's the kind of stuff you would run into if you don't do an inspection. So I didn't even get to look at the sewer line.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still bought it, based on the numbers. Like still going to make over 100,000 in the house.
Yeah. Yo, that's very interesting, bro. That you said that, because I so more times than not, it's worked for you, but like probability that you're saying you're gonna run into it every once and then, and you might take an L, but more times than not, doing that has been an effective strategy for you, right?
Yeah, I could tell you another one. Same house. It's just weird. So the house had a fuse panel, okay, and when a house is that old, it was like before 1929, and it has a fuse panel, it's generally not grounded well, or not grounded at all. And it wasn't grounded well. So what I had to do was we removed the fuse panel and we tried to put a brand new electrical panel up. But because the grounding was so poor throughout the rest of the remaining of the house, I was forced to redo all of the electrical in the house, which I thought it was going to be a swap out when I initially bought the property.
Yeah.
I was going to get just electrical panel, take the fuse panel out, put an electrical panel up. And that's not how it was.
Wow.
I literally had to redo all the electrical throughout the house.
Wow.
So that's another one. And I knew it was a fuse panel because I could read the description before, but that's not something you can't. It's hard to predict electrical until you really start looking at it.
Yeah, man. No, that's yeah. And bro, I'm glad that we're kind of talking about some of the cons about real estate, because I think it previews people to like some of the realities of what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, this is still a business, and part of a business is being able to assess problems and fix problems, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you're sharing all these stories, man. My next question for you, man, is, because you said you have 9 properties, which is awesome, man. And it's awesome to see people succeed, and especially black men. I think it's very inspiring. I think we need more models like that. My next question is, like, you had 9 properties, and I'm assuming you have a partnership with the bank, or I don't know who's helping you make these transactions, but is it the bank? And if so, how do you improve your relationship with with a bank or a creditor so that you can consistently fund your deals and get these transactions done consistently?
Yeah, so I won't tell you who the bank is.
Yeah, obviously. No, I'm not asking for that. Yeah,
I won't tell you that people got to pay for that one.
Yeah,
it took me years to understand how the financing goes and stuff. So I use a specific bank for strictly my investment properties.
Sure.
For my that's for my like 30-year mortgages. For my actual like signature loans, because I also use like credit cards to secure properties and do remodels and stuff. For my signature loans, I use a separate bank for that one.
Okay.
And the signature, the mortgage, like mortgages are pretty standard. So y'all didn't really have to build a huge relationship with the mortgage company. But
Gotcha.
for like the credit card stuff and personal loans and signature loans and stuff, I did have to build a relationship. That was a lot harder over time.
Okay.
Yeah, like how long you've been banking with them, that matters. And do you have any existing loans, and have you paid them back? That also matters. And then what kind of income are you using? You know, I actually use my rent to help qualify for the signature loans. So when I'm charging those extra $200 to $300 per house, right? That really helps me out when I go get a signature loan, because I'm using that extra $200 to $300 plus all the other part of the rent. I'm using that to qualify for the loan.
Gotcha.
Right. So I never had to go do nothing outside of the traditional ways of financing to go get properties. This stuff that people are doing now, they're just giving up all the profit to go get a property. Right. That's not being able to keep it. So like, let me give an example. In 2021, when the market was tough, like hot, I went to the auction with a $35,000 5.5% interest credit card. Okay. So the credit card is essentially like cash. You extract it right from the credit card, and my interest rate on that card was 5.5%. Where you hear people today, they're taking out credit cards that's like 28%.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, to go get $35,000 now, right now in this market, you're going to pay 15.
That's crazy.
25. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those people out there. Yeah, but like, it took me a long time to learn how to do it all. That's why I can't.
Nah, man. Yeah, man. I know you probably give up that sauce in your.
I want to make it clear. I want to make this clear at one point, because I didn't go buy 10 Detroit houses. I bought, like, you know how you look at a Detroit house online and the house is like there's no door. There's like the whole house has, the framing and everything has to be done right. You know, the houses that I'm purchasing, they're not in that kind of condition. Not even close. Like it's more of like a revamp. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not, you know, I have to do like an electrical panel and switch a sewer line, but they're still not as like Detroit homes. I mean, you get a cedar shake roof. You got to remove everything off the roof, right? All the way to the studs. And sometimes you got to fix the studs, and then you got to put a brand new roof on. Like, it's like the Detroit homes are really bad shape, and they still have, no one talks about this. They still got over 15,000 homes are still knocked down. No one talks about it. There's still 15,000 homes. So where, like I said, the places I'm investing in, they're a lot, they're not as volatile.
Yeah. So it kind of allows you to have a bit more stability when making these transactions and build trust with those banks you're working with. Because I don't know if they'll be so willing to do the same energy with Detroit, right?
Like now because the homes are actually appraising in Detroit, which is very good.
Okay.
I think now you shouldn't have an issue. But back in 2014, I would believe you'd had an issue in Detroit, because here in Pontiac, I had an issue with getting the homes insured. I had the values weren't there for the some of the insurance companies. Many insurance companies didn't want to insure the properties. I mean, even getting loans was very tough.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's simply, I mean, just appraising them, right? So like, you got to imagine an appraiser going to come into a block, and you know, there's one house there that's remodeled, and then all the other homes are like condemned. It's really hard for an appraiser who's not in the area to appraise those homes. And I had a hard time back in 2014 with appraisals because of that.
Yeah, man. So, man, I'm actually glad that you were able to acquire personal loans to be able to essentially finance your deals. I feel like that's actually a very underrated way of purchasing properties, and I feel like no one talks about that enough. I feel like people keep talking about private lenders, and I'm with you. I'd rather get a personal loan. Like, I feel like, because once you build a relationship with that credit union or whatever, the banker, I feel like, one, they're an institution, so they're a lot more reputable, but two, like, you can also kind of continuously do it. Am I right with them if everything goes well, right? Yeah. Yeah, man. So my next question to you, man, is I'm curious because I just got my Georgia realtor license, and technically I'm a realtor, but I don't really care for the whole realtor thing. Honestly, I just do it more to invest. And I was curious, do you have your realtor license? And if so, what do you think is the benefit of having a realtor license as an investor?
No, I don't got my realtor license.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get it either.
Okay.
You know? The market's pretty much trying to get rid of realtors right now. Does ever go away? Because I think there's a need for new purchasers to get help.
Yeah.
But I think that the advantage is that you do get to see homes a little quicker, and sellers take you a little bit more serious. Right?
Yeah.
But now in our time, I think it's more acceptable not to have a realtor license. The wholesalers are becoming more accepted, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
man. Yeah, no. It's far from a necessity, bro. I don't have to have it. I'm gonna be honest. The only reason why I'm getting it is because you get a commission for your own check. Literally, you're just saying like we don't need realtors. I agree. Like I don't really think the realtors are necessary either. I only wanted to do it because I feel like by me having a license, I can expedite the process and make the offers myself and be quicker towards the deal.
Nah, it's not enough. Once you start making enough money.
Yeah.
Little commissions, it's a joke.
Yeah, I feel that.
I mean, think about it, 3%.
Yeah.
Once you start making enough money, it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's like I don't do anything. If I'm gonna do something, it's really got to be worth it for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go buy a property, and like some people have their pricing, right? So like with me, $400 after expenses is not enough money for a single family property for me. I'm trying to get like $600-700. Plus I need an additional like 50,000+ of equity for it to really be worth it. When I'm buying a house, I'm getting like 100,000 plus on all the money I put in, right? Everybody, some people out there, they're only making like $200 with no equity and they're happy with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see the stuff right now, right? So stuff. And there are people who are buying the homes at 90%.
Facts. Yeah.
Right. So it's like anything that I'm doing, it has to pay me a significant amount of money for me to do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. So, you've been able to make quite a few transactions. And how did you go about finding these deals? There's so many different types of ways to find deals nowadays. There's off marketing. You can make direct calls. There's the MLS. What do you do to go about looking for deals?
The first thing I'm on Zillow just like everybody else. I'm a normal buyer. I go to Zillow. I do go to the auctions and stuff, but from a conversational standpoint, I'm looking just like everyone else. So I pull up Zillow. I see the house, okay, and the first thing I'm looking at is to see what advantage do I have for buying this home. Okay, what struggles is this person having? What is hard about them selling this home? Sometimes they got a tenant inside. Sometimes the roof is bad, right? Sometimes the person who's selling the house was just became the owner, right? Because somebody died. So that person just trying to quickly get rid of the home. Another thing is a wholesaler selling the home for someone else, right? So I'm looking for struggles. I'm not looking for the realtor to list the house. Remodel. There's what do you call that? Warranties. I'm not looking for warranties. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for no easy. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I bought a house that has like a commercial building right next to it, and that commercial building is in horrible shape. And the house I bought is green. I like green houses because they're ugly. You can
green houses? Okay.
You can get real good deals on green houses.
Okay.
And, like I got a house that it's a greenhouse and it's got a green roof.
Okay.
I got a great deal, and you can actually paint the house. You can see paint the house, but But
People
somebody
don't think of it like that.
exactly right.
Yeah, interesting. So for you, you seem to have a more positive perspective on problems, whereas people see problems and they run away. You're like, that's a problem, that's a struggle. Like, maybe I can fix it, make it more valuable, and thus profit from it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like when you go to the gym, right? When a person
Yeah,
goes to the gym and they're looking in the mirror at their body,
yeah,
I'm looking at it. I look at how to make that human better. I look at how to take what I have now and make it better. Where other people, they like to just kind of like look at it the opposite way. They kind of tear their body, tear it down, the visual down, the goal down, right?
yeah,
They're not looking like, okay, how do I take what I have and make it, better? Can I lose weight here? Can I work out another hour, right? Can
yeah,
I do some training, right? So that's kind
yeah.
of like how I look at it. Like I won't just completely dismiss a property when it's listed. I would actually go and ask a few questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm buying it at this, is there a bank out there that's willing to give me, loan it to me on a 85% LTV, so which there are.
Yeah. So yeah, you go about purchasing single family homes, and they're typically at a 20 to 25% down payment. You said you were able to find them at 15%.
So yeah. There's what I'm saying is that basically there are banks out there who are traditional, will give you a traditional loan, with just 15% down.
Okay.
Right. So, and then the closing costs can be rolled into that deal with the seller. So you're coming out the pocket with very little money to secure the property.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, my follow-up question, man, is I'm just curious, man. Like, you seem like you have a lot of experience with investing. You also mentioned you're an engineer and a janitor, and you went to college. Throughout all the experiences you've had in your life, what would you say is the most pivotal decision you've made, and why?
Oh man, the one I heard Ben Malla say he did multiple refinances. And that's actually what gave me the idea. I was watching a video,
Okay.
and he said he did. That's how I think it was like titled like how he made his first million.
Yeah.
From refinancing, right? But then he said, oh, he did multiple refinances, and then he looked at his bank account one day, and boom, he had $1 million. That's kind of like what hit me. Like that was like the wow moment. Like wow, maybe if I did multiple refinances all at the same time, it would be better for me. And a lot of people just don't understand. They hear it, but they don't really understand like the math and how it all happened. It takes a little while. You have to like put it on paper to see how it goes.
Yeah.
But man, that actually what really helped me out the most.
Yeah. So let's speak about that more in depth, because I'm familiar with refinancing. I'm based on how you're saying it. I would like for you to kind of expand on that. What about the refinancing process is so valuable?
So, and back in 2014, you have to purchase a home, wait this season of time to go get a new traditional loan on the same property. You have to wait 6 months. It's called a season of time. Now you can buy it on day one, and you can literally refinance it a couple weeks after. All the money back out.
Oh wow!
Right.
Wow.
So if you have 4 homes like that, and you have a surplus of money, you could do that like 4 times and more.
Really wow.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is by like you could buy a property. As soon as you purchase it, take the money out of it and use it to invest in another property and continuously do that, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. But what I did, like I said, and what other investors are doing, successful investors, they're refinancing like, okay, so say property 1, they pull out 60,000, but they already have property 2. So they pull another 60,000 out. That's 120,000 plus you have a surplus of money every single month from the rent, right? From the 2 properties. Now they can like 3 more homes. If you buy them low enough, you can refinance equity out of those homes as well. Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the market was coming up so quickly between like 2020 to 2022. The market was just going up so fast. By the time you refinance house 5, you could come back and pull more money out of house 1 and 2.
Yeah. And this is assuming that we're in an up market instead of a down market. Because I feel like clearly if the market was going down, do you think this is still feasible? Is it still feasible or not?
Absolutely.
It is.
I mean, there's not enough homes in the market. There's not enough homes in the market. Interest rates right now are, well, they went from like 5.5% to like almost 8%. So I mean, interest rates now 8%. They're killing people. I already heard that they're messing people up in the in commercial real estate.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so commercial real estate's taking a hit right now, but residential, I mean, just think about it. I mean, when you're going from a 5.5% rate to an 8% rate, the normal investor is looking at their monthly payment to what the rent's going to be.
Sure.
Right. So, and most investors are not equipped enough to, jack up the rent.
Yeah.
Take the rent above market value.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, man, you spoke about, what you personally believe was the most pivotal decision in your life. What would you say has been the most difficult moment or experience you've been through, and how did you overcome it?
The most difficult?
Yeah.
I mean, it's. I mean, realistically, if you have a problem in real estate, you throw money at it. That's what you do. I mean, it's, if you can't do the work yourself, you're going to have to throw money at it, right?
Yeah.
And that's essentially what I did. I have the same problem as most investors have. Like sometimes my problem is a little bit harder because I got all these other properties for rent that I'm renting and stuff. But
yeah,
it's generally the same thing. What I do, like when I had my plumbing issue, my pipe issue, that was tough because I mean, who's got 30 grand, right?
Yeah.
So you throw money at it. You go get financing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You try to get. It cost me $1,300 just to diagnose the problem. I know plumbing. I know plumbing, and I have my own camera.
That's crazy.
And I still had to pay like $1,300 and have other professionals and engineers like me. I had to go get my buddies who are engineers to help diagnose the problem and see.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And dude, I mean, we looked at it every possible way, and I had no choice. I had to replace it.
Wow. So when you were going through that $30,000 mistake with the sewer line, how did you feel, and why did you choose to keep pursuing real estate? Because I feel like that's a very valid reason to be like, man, I don't want to do this. This is annoying, or like this is too costly. But you chose to continue with the endeavor. Why do you feel like you did that? You made that decision?
Yeah, because the rents are there. I really believe that the rent is going to get to like $2,000 a month in Pontiac per house. I really believe I can take it there. And I know it's a big statement because when I started in 2014, rent was anywhere from $550 to $700 a 3-day half, right? So when I first was saying, "Oh, rent's going to be $2,000," people were looking at me like, "There's no way," Yeah. But now that I'm getting closer and closer, and I'm seeing the incomes on the applications and stuff. We have Amazon in Pontiac now, so things are
nice. So, you lit, huh?
Things are a little bit better income wise. I do see that.
Nice, yeah. So
that's why, because the rent can pay the debt service, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like all your properties and everything, and you spend a lot of your time in Pontiac, and so it sounds like if Pontiac ever gets to that place where it starts, getting more corporate companies like Amazon or gentrifies, or gets an influx of more people, you're up, huh?
Well, yeah. If it gets more people and stuff, but I'm not looking at it that way.
Okay.
I think that ultimately, I think I can eventually have enough properties where I can say that I have a significant impact on the market, and I think I can do that with single family.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't think I know what the number is because I saw it happen in real life. What I'm saying, I saw it in real life, so I know what the number is. But instead of me selling the homes and disrupting the sales price of the market, what I would like to do is partner with the actual city, which they're doing it now with some of the in the commercial space.
Yeah. I know. Oh, that's interesting. So you have an even grander vision. Like you're trying to make a conglomerate, buy a conglomerate of properties, so that you can essentially kind of dictate like the market in Pontiac. Is that correct? Or
absolutely, yeah. You will dictate it and become powerful, right? Because there's a lot of investors out there who have 40, 50, way more homes than I do. I know some investors in the city who have more homes than I do. I know.
Yeah.
There's some big investors. But to become a powerful investor, it takes more than just the amount of homes, and you got to know the right kind of people. And I think that if you're talking to the right kind of people politically, that you could form a partnership that can control and dictate the market. And not just letting the price and the people dictate it, but you can put some force on it, a lot more force than what's happening. And that's just a greater vision that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very possible because I'm seeing a lot of the city, like I said, partner with companies here. So I think I can make my way in there somehow. I think they got some room for me.
Hey, man. Hopefully you can make that vision come true, man. That'll be dope. There's with business and with real estate and just in general, I think as you may notice, there's a lot of people. It's like a people game. You gotta communicate with banks, lenders, politics, and essentially kind of have like that ability to communicate correctly and efficiently to solve the other person's problem. And with that being said, I'm just kind of curious, man, because like you're a dark skinned man, you're big. Do you feel like being dark skinned or your race affects the way you do business or how people may perceive you?
I mean, always, right? It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be like that, right? But I don't let that stop me. I try to like take the wisdom approach and like let you see how much wisdom is behind is what I have, through the engineering, through the degrees, ownership in real estate, right?
Yeah.
And also helping people, right? When I'm online, people that builds a big trust, that builds my image up when I'm able to, you see just the tattoos and right, you see that, right? But I've helped hundreds and thousands of people. And like people know that I'm the real estate guy. When they have a real estate problem with the sewer line, they have no one else to call but me.
And
they know I'm going to help them, and I don't want their money.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you were able to like develop a reputation that precedes your race. I'm just curious, man. I didn't know if you had stories or not.
But it gives me an advantage, though.
Interesting. Why so? Why you look at it like that?
Because there's just from growing up in the poverty area, I have a understanding that some people just don't have it, and they just can't break that barrier and come in. Like there's some things that someone else who didn't grow up in the poverty area, they just can't do.
Yeah.
Some houses I can purchase that you just can't. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
There's some way, and like there's some conversations I have with tenants that they can't, other people can't have. I think that that really gives me an edge. Like I look at it as a positive as well, right? Like it's like I told you with the body thing. I look at it like, how do we make this better, right? I can sit here and I can complain about all the things I don't have, right? All the disadvantages, or I can take my advantages and I can just increase from that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I love that answer, and I like how you flipped it. I looked at, I think being dark skinned and it seems like a neighborhood allows you to have different conversations that you probably wouldn't have as a result of the experiences that you had being poor, right? And so it makes it more relatable to the tenants.
Yeah, and I mean, see, like you when you're investing, you have to buy at the bottom. You cannot sit back and listen to everybody, because the game of investing is to buy low.
Mm-hmm.
So I also invest in Flint as well, and I think I think Flint's a great area to invest. And the reason for that is the quality and the infrastructure, right? So Flint, their organization online is by far better than Detroit. So when you look at how they're selling the houses and auction, the process, the infrastructure is way better. When you look at the quality of what you're purchasing, it's by far better. $10,000 in Flint goes a lot farther than Detroit. Okay. Now the incomes in Detroit is I think is a lot better. Income, like the job market is a lot better, which has a big impact on real estate. But like we have the electrical vehicle situation coming, right? We have the electric vehicles coming in the market. You know, it's probably going to really take a big effect in like after 2030 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that if you look online, I think I know that General Motors just dropped $470 million into Flint, Flint, yeah, and then another 250 right outside of there. And again, like I people laughed at me when I went to go buy homes in Flint because they said the water and stuff was bad. But I think that with the electrical vehicle combination of that's going to hit the impact. That's going to impact. I think the electric vehicles impact in the market is going to really help that real estate out there.
Yeah.
Without me having to go and remodel a whole house in Detroit. I bought remodeled homes in Flint for $35,000. I bought another one for like $21,000, fully remodeled when the market was at its knees.
Yeah.
And I was laughed at. You know, so I know I'm gonna clean up in Flint.
Yeah, that's smart. Everything you're saying reminds me of the Warren Buffett quote. What is it? Buy when people are when people are greedy. Then you start to run away. Do you know the quote? I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, but be fearful when people are greedy.
Yeah.
Be greedy when people are fearful.
Yes, sir. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and everything you said just reminded me of that. You know, I feel like when everything is cheap or doesn't seem to make sense, everyone calls you crazy until it actually starts to work. I feel like that's just the nature of entrepreneurship and people, which is kind of annoying. No one wants to believe in you when you're doing something that they haven't done. Once they start to see it work, and then everyone's like, wow, whoa, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's the real value is when no one believed in whatever that property was, or no one believed in that person. It doesn't even have to be real estate. I think that's just kind of life and when you're making investments, you know?
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, I used to get that a lot. I don't get that no more.
Yeah.
People take my word now.
That's a reputation. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just comes with the nature. It comes with the nature. You don't have to fix up everything you buy. Like people think you have to have a full game plan after you buy something. You really don't.
Yeah.
There's some homes I have that I just bought and I just have them sitting there.
Facts. Yeah.
You know, and they're really good condition. I just leave it there because I know because what's happening is that the market's going up fast. The neighborhood and value is going up faster than what I could even make in rent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? And that's what actually what happened to me. Like I was buying homes, you know, and I look around like the neighborhood is literally going up faster than what I can even make in the rent. So it doesn't make sense for me to go and do a full remodel because I could just sell it later.
Yeah.
You know, for more money than what I'm going to use for a better profit. So sometimes you have to buy, you literally have to wait. You don't have to have a full game plan.
Yeah.
It's funny to me because I can hear the voices now, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. That's why I'm a big fan of buying and holding for the long term. I'm kind of with that with anything. I feel like any endeavor I start, I kind of see if I can't do it for a long time or forever, I don't see what's the worth power of it. If I'm gonna be with a girl, I want to be with her forever. If I'm gonna buy real estate, kind of want to. I don't want to say own it forever, but own it for a long period of time because I feel like if it's just something short. Sometimes, I don't know, for me, it's usually not worth it, or it's not really as fulfilling.
Yeah, so you're looking at it. So, like, you're looking at, like, 10 years type down the road, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, like, when I gauge an investment, I'm gauging it from, like, a 7-year standpoint.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like anything above 5 years, I would say it's you're getting into the long term realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I've noticed you got a family, man. And that hats off to you, man. Hopefully, one day I'm able to have a family of myself. And I'm just kind of curious, how does having a family affect the way you do business and just view life overall?
Me, it doesn't affect. It doesn't affect it. It
Oh,
doesn't.
okay.
It doesn't. I don't. I keep going. I don't really. I don't let anything on the outside stop me. Right.
Okay.
So I have to sacrifice something. That's just what I got to do. Obviously it's for positive energy, right?
Yeah.
Really for right. So like, it's not. I'm not really. I prioritize things, a little bit differently. Like some people would hang out and go to the parties on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I live more of a structured life, and that's how I became as successful as I am today, is because of the structure that I have.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So no, I mean, yeah, I think that's part of one of the things about investing and just success that I feel like should be spoken about more. There's a lot of sacrifices that come from it. You got to do a lot of saving. You also got to sacrifice the way you typically spend time with people. What are some of the sacrifices you feel like you've made in order to get to where you are?
Just the sleep, man. The sleep is sleeping in, and I would say, sports, right? Like I was an athlete for a long time.
Oh, okay.
I'm still an athlete, not near as much as I was before. And it's really because the real estate is, it's been really good to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to give up a little bit more of my athletic time for the real estate.
Yeah.
Well, that's really been the biggest sacrifice, and delaying like vacations. Like I could, if I stop now investing, I could go on vacations a lot more often.
Yeah.
But because I'm investing so much, it's hard for me to be online every day. It's hard for me to take vacations all the time. I have to skip the gym, because I'm still investing. Like that's like when you look online, you see a lot of people talking and investing.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, like, how much are they actually doing offline? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and like the investors I know, they all tell me, like, guys who have 13, 14 homes tell me, I'm still working. I'm working hard like I had 5 homes.
You want to know what it is, bro? Those people who spend a lot of time talking about real estate on social media and you're kind of wondering if they're actually doing it, I feel like they're making more money teaching real estate than actually doing real estate. Would that's for like what I feel like is the case.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's fine. But I think that the power can be generated better offline.
Yeah.
Like in my example I showed you earlier about the politics and stuff, just being the politics and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, online you can't go meet the billionaire in person. You can't meet him in person and shake his hand.
Yeah.
We have people who are very wealthy here, and the best way to meet them is actually doing political stuff.
No, bro, I'm with you, man. There's so much more power to empower relationships. I personally believe a lot of this stuff online is fake, and I try not to put too much power into it. I'm curious. You said you made a lot of sacrifices, like like taking away your ability to do sports and your sleep. What and despite all those sacrifices, you still continue to do real estate. And you even said yourself that, like, if you were to stop investing, you're making so much good money that you don't need to keep doing this. So then the question becomes, why are you still doing this?
Because it's like you've dug a hole so deep, like I literally right. So I have to make sure I hit the end goal. I make sure I hit the target, right? So it's this. If I stop now, obviously I can keep. If I stop now, I think it's like a bit selfish, right, to family members and stuff and the people that I impact. Like if I actually just stop now from being online and not helping people, right, I think that's selfish of me because, right, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if I just said, no, I didn't want to be in your podcast today, not help you.
Yeah.
The podcast really does nothing for me, right? You know, see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, my money's okay. I'm not gonna make $1 from this, right? So,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you like how it gives you the
I'm
ability.
helping the people who are gonna listen to this.
Yeah.
If I do it all to be selfish.
Yeah. So the way you look at it, it gives you an opportunity to continue to help people and teach people how to do it themselves. Is what you're saying?
Right. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
A homeless person standing in front of McDonald's, holding up a sign, begging for money. Is that selfish?
I wouldn't say so. I don't think it's selfish, but I'm curious to hear your answer.
So somebody who is able enough to stand outside for 12 hours a day,
yeah,
with a sign asking for money in front of America's biggest company. That's not selfish.
Oh yeah.
That's not selfish.
I guess he's taking the real estate. Yeah, he's taking the space and it's all about him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that will be considered selfish, right? Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, no, I feel it, bro, and I'm glad that you're using this as an opportunity to teach people. Yeah, I've noticed once I started real estate investing as well, a lot of people ask me about my experience, and it kind of gives me an experience the opportunity to help and teach other people how to do it too. So, my last question for you, boss, is this has been a great conversation. I'm just curious, you've been real estate investing for 10 years and, you're in your 30s, right? You're getting older and wiser. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self and how would that kid respond?
I think if there's something that I would have done a little differently,
yeah,
is I wouldn't have been a janitor as long as I was. That was a janitor for over 10 years, and wow. That was you have to imagine I didn't learn much, right? I didn't learn. I could have been shadowing someone else. I could have been doing an apprenticeship with electric. I could have done. There's all kinds of stuff I could have done, right?
Yeah.
So at 10 years of time served me nothing.
Yeah.
Right. It was just enough for me to get by.
Yeah. Yeah. And so essentially looking back, you wish you spent less time being a janitor and more time investing in yourself, investing in your education in real estate, and just kind of growing more as a person so that you could have had more time and more properties acquired by now if you started earlier, essentially.
So now I don't base the success off the properties. Not at all.
Okay.
I think the way that I'm investing is extremely slow, and I think it's very difficult to invest the way that I'm doing it. I don't think it's an easy way at all. I don't think it's the reason is because I don't think the way that I'm investing is practical. I've gotten success off it and it works for me. I don't know it's not practical. Like practical meaning that standard, meaning that if I actually went to go write an instruction book and gave it to someone else and says, hey, this is how you do it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, you absolutely need me to tell you how to do the investing strategy, like my method and how I do it.
Yeah.
So that's that point. Say your question again.
Yeah, no. And then I guess the follow-up question is like, you would tell your younger self like, hey, I don't want to be a janitor, or you maybe stop spending your time being a janitor. How would that kid respond? Would he be like, man, like this is cool? Like, what would your younger self say to that person?
And that's I didn't have no one around me at the time who was doing stuff. Like I didn't like now, like you can kind of like go be, message somebody in there and you can get some help that way.
Yeah.
I didn't have it. I didn't even know that it was even possible to do the stuff I'm doing right now. Like I had no clue. Yeah. Somebody owns a house, I thought they were a billionaire,
So basically, you're basically saying like, if you were to give that advice to your younger self, you'd be like, "What are you talking about, bro? Like, how am I gonna even get out of this situation?" Like, yeah.
I mean, and again, like I think that it's my response to that, just to finish it, is I would have put better people. I would have put people who are not athletes around me. Athletes that I had, the people that I had around me most of the time were like real like top athletes, like straight athletes. They were just buried in basketball, buried in weightlifting, that kind of thing. They weren't doing nothing else. They were specialists in the sports, but they weren't specialists in nothing else. And that's probably what I would have done. And they see the real estate community is way different than any other community.
For sure.
Yeah. In real estate, like you can get all kind of help in real estate for free.
For sure, man. No. I mean, you're literally an example, bro. I just hit you up like, hey, you want to come on my podcast? And you're like, yeah, bro. I've been able to get a bunch of multi-millionaire real estate investors on my podcast simply because they like networking and helping other people out. And so I agree with you. So yeah, it sounds like you said if you could, you would surround yourself around higher quality people, essentially. Yeah, and
specialists in that area.
Yeah, and one of those communities, I think for both of us is Bigger Pockets. I think Bigger Pockets is a great community. I've been able to meet a lot of people from that community who are doing a lot of great stuff and are pretty approachable. At least for me, or not? Nah.
It's a website. It's not a community.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
It's Bigger Pockets is great, but it's a website. The people are making Bigger Pockets.
Yeah.
People are making it.
Yeah. All right. And then my last question to you, Darius, is if people want to connect with you or learn more from you, Darius, how can people reach out to you or connect?
You can just go to my website at rewithed.com, and there you can book a one-on-one call with me, or you can go to my Instagram and send me a message there if you just have a quick question. Sometimes I answer those right on video and just post it for everyone else. Or if I have extra time and I'm not doing nothing, I'll respond right there. Or if you want to snatch my time, you have to go through the website.
Yeah.
But now that's the best way to reach me. That's honestly the best way to reach me.
Website. Okay. Word, man. Yo, well, Darius, Brent, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Learned a lot about single family investing. I learned a lot about the Pontiac market. I wasn't really familiar with that. And honestly, it's just a pleasure having you on, man. I wish you best of luck in all your endeavors, and thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I guess when you come to Detroit, send me a message, man.
Oh yeah, bro, for sure, man. I never know when I'm in Detroit, but if I ever am, definitely hitting you up. I'm in Atlanta, my guy.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 28.
28. Okay, yeah.
So
good, yeah. So when did you start investing?
When I was 20, I got my first property at 24.
Same age as me. Yep, 24.
That's when you got your first property?
Yep, 2014. I was 24. Yep.
Oh wait, how old are you now? Like 35?
I'm 34 right now.
Oh, 34. Yeah, man. So I'm just honestly, I try to have people who are older than me and have a lot of wisdom and try to learn from them and just implement what y'all are doing into my life. That's really what I've been trying to do. Like you talk about surrounding yourself around higher quality people. That's literally what I've been trying to do on this podcast.
I had a guy. He's the owner of the house that lives next door to me. He was an